Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Disu and you're watching Data Science with Disu. So till now in this journey of data science, we have covered up two playlists. The first one was fundamentals of Python and the second one is the exploratory data analysis. And we have also done a capstone project on exploratory data analysis. Now that we have understand the fundamentals of Python and we are able to do analysis on any kind of data set using Python libraries, which is pandas, and some of the data visualizations library like matplotlib and seaborn. Now in this whole process of doing any kind of analysis, the first and the foremost requirement is what? Data. Now where the data comes from? Now since you have understood the fundamentals of Python and EDA, let's say you are doing any kind of analysis, and for that you are taking any kind of data. Now the data that is related to your problem may be available on let's say on Google or some kind of website, let's say Kaggle, which you can say a kind of community platform where many kind of data set is already available, and there are also some kind of notebooks are also available. So you can say it's a kind of open source of kind of thing, like any can come to that platform and add any kind of data to that platform, or they can also download data from that platform, and you can also upload your notebooks to that platform. Whatever the analysis that you are doing, you can just upload your Jupyter or Colab notebook there. There are also some kind of competitions that are already going there, so you can participate in that competitions. So I would highly recommend you to go to that platform and use that platform and learn how other people are doing analysis on different kind of data set. Now my whole point of explaining all of these things were data, like this data is actually available on, let's say, on Kaggle or any Google websites. But let's say you are working for a company. Now in that company, let's say you're doing any kind of analysis on a data. Now that data is not actually available on the Google. It is being generated in the company itself. So let's say you are working in an e-commerce company, let's say on Flipkart or Amazon. So those company are what? They are actually selling some kind of products there. Now whatever the transactions that is happening, so all of this data of that transactions are actually recorded there. So for all the transactions, you have a kind of data set that has been maintained there. Now the size of those data is not as small as you have done like use data in the capstone project. Per day, millions of transactions that are happening. Now to store that data and maintain that data, you need a kind of database management system. So I will actually explain in detail what is actually database management system, but this is a kind of system that is required to manage those large data sets. So updating means, let's say you are deleting some of the rows in the data or inserting some of the rows, and there are many more things that comes under it. So these are some of the operations that you need to do with those data, and this can be done under a database management system. Now let's say this is a database management system and there is an user who requires some kind of data from the database management system to do some kind of analysis. Now how this user can interact with this database management system? So using a language that is called structured query language, which is in short called SQL or SQL, they can interact with this database management system and they can pull out some of the data that he requires, or he can also like update the tables, like delete some of the values or change some of the values, whatever the operation he wants, if he has some kind of access to that database management system. So इस सेशन में हम DBMS, that means database management system के बारे में brief introduction देखेंगे, and then we will focus on the SQL part, that is structured query language. So before starting this session, I would request you to please like the video and share this video to your friends as much as possible, because I want to ensure that this kind of free content should reach towards more learners like you. And believe me, I am doing a lot of hard work to create this kind of contents and make available to you absolutely free. So without getting any further delay, let's get started. Cool. So this series is going to be about structured query language, that is SQL. But before that, we will first of all understood what is actually DBMS, and then after understanding that, that means database management system, we will go towards SQL, that is structured query language, which is actually used to interact with DBMS through any user. So any user can use this language, that is SQL, to interact with database management system, and they can fetch or update any kind of dataset that is available there. Cool. So let us start. So first of all, before understanding that database management system, first of all we need to understand what is actually database. So a database is a shared collection of logically related data and description of this data designed to meet the information needs of an organization. So let's say, for example, there is a e-commerce company which is having some kind of product that they are selling. Like you can take an example of company, let's say Flipkart or Amazon. So they are having some customer table. Why customer table? To store the customer ID, customer name and email address. So they are the customer which is making some of the purchases on their website. Now when the customer has been made some of the purchase, like let's say they have ordered something, now this order has to be shipped. Now the shipping detail has been stored in another table, that is called shipping table. So inside that we have shipping ID, shipping address and the customer ID to which customer this product is going to be shipped. Now this is what? This is one data. That means the customer table is having one data which is having detail of a customer ID, customer name and email address who has ordered something. Now there is another data that is called shipping table. So this is, let's say, data 1 and this is data 2. Now this both data is related to each other. How? Because you can see that there is a customer ID column that is present in the customer table. Now there is also a customer ID column which is present in the shipping table. So that means you can relate both of this table now. If I say there is a shipping ID, let's say 123 is a shipping ID. If I ask the customer name of this shipping ID, that means let's say this is a shipping ID for any product and I want to know the customer name for which this product is going to be shipped. Now from this table what you will get? You can get the customer ID. Now for, let's say, the customer ID is 012. Now this customer ID you are going to search in the customer table. So for customer ID 012 you are going to search corresponding customer name, and whatever the name you have, let's say there is a name Aman. So this is the customer who is making the purchase. So initially you have a shipping data. Out of that, using the shipping ID you found out the customer ID, and then you come back to the customer table and you found out the name. That means these two tables are related to each other using the customer ID column. So this is what this whole is called actually a database. Why? Because these data are related to each other. That means they are logically related data. So this is what which is called a database. So this is just a two data that I have given, like two table, but there may be many tables. It can be 50 or 100 table also which may be related to each other. So this is a whole database we have. So next we are going to understand what is actually DBMS now. So you have understood what is actually database. Now you are going to understand what is database management system. So as the name suggests, you can see it is a management system for a database. So whatever the database that you have seen, you should have a management system to manage this database. That means it is a software system that is designed to manage and organize the data in a structured manner, and it allows user to create, modify and query a database as well as manage the security and access control for that database. So जो भी यहाँ पे management की बात हो रही है, like what are the management that you can do? Like you can create, modify or query a data, or you can also manage the security and access control. That means you can control who can access this database. Since the data to any company is actually confidential, you should have the access to access this database. Now let's say there are some users who have the access to access this database. Now how they can access the database? They can use an application. So it can be any web application through which they are connecting with the database. Now how they can connect with that? Now to connect with that application to the database, you need a kind of language to interact with that, that is called a structured query language. So an application program communicates with the database using an appropriate request, typically a SQL statement. So whatever the query that you use using SQL language, that is actually called SQL statement. And to manage this database management system, there are some operating system on which this DBMS works. So next we are going to look at the key properties of DBMS. So what are some of the properties of DBMS? So you can say this is a database management system, DBMS. So the first property is what? Data management. That means you can manage the data. You can store, retrieve or modify the data. That means let's say this DBMS is having 10 data. That means 10 different tables that has been stored there. So this is the storing part. Then retrieving is you can just retrieve some of the tables. Let's say out of those 10 tables you want any table to retrieve. So let's say the name of the table, let's say customer table. So you can just extract the data of that customer table. That means you can retrieve the data. And modifying means you can modify that. So let's say you want to make some changes to that data. Let's say by mistake you have entered some wrong values to that table, so you can modify that as well. Second property is what? Transaction support. That means it ensures modification to database must either be successful or not done at all. Now what does that mean? That means whatever the modification that you are doing in that table, it is either done successfully or not done at all. That means it will not create any error in between or crash your tables. Next property is what? Concurrency control. That means simultaneous data access provided to users. That means at the same time different users can access the data. That means more than one users, 2 3 4 5, whatever the limit that you set, they can access the data at the same time. Recovery, that means there is a recovery mechanism for data, so nothing is lost. So there are some kind of queries that is available or functionalities in DBMS that is available. So even if your data is, let's say, lost, it is actually recovered. So you can recover the data whatever you have lost. Then there is a security, so access to authorized user only. That means you can control who can access this database. Sixth one is integrity. That means maintain the accuracy of the data. So at this point of time आप इसको नहीं समझ पाओगे what is actually integrity, but अभी ये कुछ देर में आएगा, then I will make it clear. Then the last one is the utilities. That means data import, export, user management, backup, performance analysis, logging, audit. That means different kind of utilities has been given. So data import, export means you can just download the data, whatever the data you have faced, you can download that, export that in any format, CSV or Excel. And then there is a import also, you can import any data. You have user management, backup, then performance analysis. That means how your DBMS is performing. There are loggings, audits, all of these things is available. So whatever the kind of management that you can think about, it is available in the DBMS. So let's move forward towards the type of database systems. So अभी तक आपने जो भी डेटा देखा होगा, that is mostly available in Excel or CSV format. But there are many other kind of database that is available. So first one is the hierarchical database. So what is that? So it looks like a kind of tree structure. So what is that thing? Let's say for example, in that e-commerce company, there is a segmentation of product. Let's say there is a electronics product. Now in that electronics product, it may be that it is mobile, or it may be it is a television, or it may be any household item. So you have a categorization of that electronic products. Now in that television also, let's say there are different kind of television. Let's say a smart TV, or there is a non-smart TV. So these are a kind of classification that is happening. Now if you see why this has been named as a hierarchical. So hierarchical means it has been actually ranked. So that means a rank has been made. So let's say this is a rank 1 where electronics products are coming, but inside that electronic product it may be different kinds of division, that is mobile, television, or household items. So let's say this is coming under rank 2. Then rank 3 is actually the categorization of different electronic products. Let's say for television, then for mobile also it may be Android or iOS, then for a household item it may be many kind of categorization. So this is a kind of hierarchical structure that is happening here. Now you cannot store this kind of data to a Excel format, क्योंकि आपको वहाँ पे hierarchical show करना है. So in Excel or CSV format you cannot show that hierarchical structure. So for that you need to have a hierarchical database. So this was the first kind of data set. Then the second is what? Network. So network is what actually? So if you see, like you have used Instagram or Facebook, you can see there are some kind of suggestions that are coming that this may be your friend. So you might have observed कि आपके पास different kind of friend suggestions आते रहते हैं. Now what is that thing? How they actually do that? So there are a network kind of structure. Let's say this is a person A, this is a person B, this is a person C, and this is D, this is E, and this is F. Now you can see one thing, that A is what? A is mutual friend of B and C, since B is also a friend of A and C is also a friend of A. But B and C are not friend for now. So what the Facebook will do? They will give a friend suggestion. They will give a friend suggestion of C to B that he might be your friend, or they can give a friend suggestion of B to C that B can be your friend. Similarly, since A is a friend of C and E is a friend of A, so they can give a suggestion of friendship between C and E. So this is what, this is a network kind of a structure that is happening. That means it is suggesting that which person is actually connected to each other and which person can be connected to each other in future. So this is what are called network or graph structure, which is mostly used in Facebook or Instagram. That means a social kind of platform. Then the third is what? Third is NoSQL, which is in the form of key value pairs, or you can say graph or documents. So what is happening actually here? Like you have some kind of key value pair. Let's say for example, you have name, then the name of the person, then you have age, then the age of the person. Then let's say you have a physical info. So physical info can be what? It can be height, it can be weight, it can be, let's say, blood group. So there are many things that can be happening here. So this is what actually key value pair. So the first value is the key and the second is the value, then key, then value, then again key, then value. So it might be possible now that there may be a nested key value pair also. Like for here, physical info is a key, but inside that also it might be a key value pair again, like height, weight and blood group. So it might be that height is the key and the value is the value of the height, then weight, then blood group. So this is a kind of key value pair that is happening. So this kind of data set is actually called NoSQL. Why it is called NoSQL? Because you cannot use the structured query language, that means SQL, to interact with those data sets. So that is why it has been named as a NoSQL. And the fourth and the most important is the relational database. So relational database is what actually, whatever the database that we have seen till now, which is in like Excel format or CSV format, these are having some kind of rows and columns. So you can say it has a tabular structure. So I don't think example is needed here to understand this relational database, because this is the data set that we have interacted till now. So आपने जो भी data set अभी तक देखा है, that is actually relational database, and the focus of this course is this one. So we are not going to discuss network, hierarchical and NoSQL. We are only going to focus on the relational database structure, because relational database में ही आप SQL, that means structured query language, use कर सकते हो to interact with the data set. So let us understand that relational database in the more deep level. Like we know already what is a relational database, but there are some kind of keywords that are actually used in relational database model. So you need to understand that keywords. So relational database store data in relations. So each relation must have a name. Like for this, let's say this is a employee table. So the name of that relation will be what? Employee. Then the columns ID, name, salary, bonus and departments. So these are the name of the columns that we have, and this is the name of the table that we have. So this is a kind of relational data that we have. Now in this relational model of the data, we have some kind of keywords that we need to know. Like first is the rows, records or tuple. So these are the three names that has been given for each row. So whatever the row that we have, so these rows are also called records or tuples. Again same with the columns. Whatever the columns that you are seeing it here, name, ID, salary, bonus, then department, all of these are called either columns, attributes or fields. So there are three names that we have. Then there are two terms, degree of freedom and the cardinality of a relation. Now what is that thing? Cardinality means the number of records. So whatever the number of rows we have, so here we are having 4 rows, so that means cardinality will be 4. Pardon my handwriting. So the cardinality of that data is actually 4. And the degree of freedom is what? Number of columns. So how many columns we have? 1 2 3 4 5. So the degree of relation will be what? 5. Now there comes a term that is called domain. So what is that term, domain? So let's say for department column, you are some set of values that you have. Let's say you have ICP, then ETA. So what are the sets of values that is actually permissible to that column? Let's say you can enter either ICP or ETA or IBS. So this is what? This is called a domain. That means you can only have values that is present in the domain, either ICP, ETA or IBS. For example, only the values that are present here is what? ICP and ETA. So you have 1 ICP, 3 ETA. You are not having IBS, but that is okay. This is the domain we have. So it can contain only the values that is present here, not extra to that. So let's say there is a department that is IPS here, but since this is not available in the domain, that means you cannot put it here. Then for some columns you maybe have some null values. What is actually null values? You have already seen that if you have not any value, that means actually blank, so you don't have any value that is present here, so that is actually called null. So yeah, in the relational model, these are some of the keywords that you need to remember. So these things you already know, like columns, record, rows. You have three new terms, that is actually domain, cardinality, and the degree of freedom. Null you already know. So that's it, very simple thing. So that is it from this session. From the next session we are going to start the data integrity and constant. So we are going to understand more about the relational model, that how the data has been actually maintained there. So there are some data integrity and constant that is available to maintain the accuracy of the data, that we are going to start from the next session. So I hope you have liked the video. If you have any doubt, you can just comment down. So I'll meet in the next session. Till then, take care. Goodbye.